So, what's the plan? Well, I had to wait till the holidays were over, but here I am. Hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and that everyone got to see friends and family. We sure did. So, now that that's passed and I've got some time here, I'm trying to line up the strips that I've sewn. So I've got the three of the patches, I guess you call them the squares. I've got three of the squares in the strip, and now I've got to put two strips together. And someone suggested that I put pins in it to help line up the transition between two squares, as I'm trying to get those corners to mate. And I'm being very careful with my needles, trying to figure out, is that what going to look right when I run it through the machine? Well, we're going to find out. I'm being really, I'm not used to it, y'all. So I'm being really persnickety about, does this line up? Is this right? Is it going to bunch up? And during the filming, I have to tell you, the thread kept jumping out of the needle. So you're going to see where I've got cuts in this edit. It's not just a continuous piece, because that continuous film was like 40 minutes. I kept having trouble with my machine, and I need to just learn the quirks of what's going on with the thread and the machine and the foot, and eventually I got it. I did not iron before I started doing this portion of the stitching. I don't know if that would help in what I'm doing, but the thing is, I don't know how far along I can go in a day. So, getting the iron out and ironing down my seams, it's like an added step, which gives the family members opportunity to come and make their request known. So I'm removing the pins and I'm looking at it, and something just doesn't seem right. Not the fact that my camera's having trouble focusing kind of right, but look, I've got a pucker right there in the middle where it meets that lighter weight fabric. I think I'm going to have to rip out the seam. I'm just not satisfied with that. There's just something where it's kind of pinching itself. So, back to the drawing board. Now, of course, the little seam ripper that I have was up in the front room, so I had to go in the front room, and I tried to do so undetected. This thread was in here really good. I actually have fast forwarded this film. I usually like ripping out a seam, but the way I don't know if this thread was just really tough, or my seam ripper is getting very dull, but it took a long time. But eventually I got it. Okay, so with these two pieces separated, tidy up the strings, we're going to try this again. Alright. Now there's a little pattern on some of these blue squares, and I don't want the quilt to be directional, so I don't want there to be like a definite top of the quilt. And so I'm going to be pointing the anchors towards each other so it could be, up or down, reverse kind of thing. I do not even know what size quilt I'm going to be making yet. So, yeah, I guess it's going to have to come with just the ability. I'm pretty sure I don't want to do like a full-size quilt. I'm going to try to maybe just do a twin. And I do not know the dimensions that I need just yet. Like, how big do you need the cover, the top, to become a twin bed? I'm not sure on that. And I felt like if I got into those details, like the measurement of it all, the amount of fabric that would be needed, I don't think I'm ready for that right now. I just need to get in here and do it. As you have seen, here it is. This is my 16th day working towards a quilt. And I'm just now getting a couple of 9 patches finished. I'm not pleased with that kind of progress. I would like there to be a lot more production towards making the art. I want to see a finished product, before I get unable to do product. So on this section, what I've done differently is put my pins further away from where I'm putting in the seam. I just put the 2 pins in there to line up the top and the bottom. I'm not necessarily aiming towards how I'm lining up the hems or the joints. I don't know what you call it. There's probably a real technical quilty term. But I'm looking at it, I'm repositioning it, I'm pressing it down with my fingers. It looks about right. So I'm going to go ahead and make an attempt at running it through the machine. And we will see how things turned out. Still trying to figure out why the thread keeps slipping out of the eye. Am I not pulling out enough thread? Do I need to hold on to the end of the thread? I'm not sure. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I might actually keep this run. See, here we have the seam that goes towards the machine. You'll see that little flap right there. And I just know I'm going to catch that darn thing, and it's going to fold over the wrong way. So I'm bringing out a little screwdriver that goes with my leather machine to help hold down that corner so it can get eaten into the foot of the machine. And that's not looking too bad. So let's see how this turned out. Another funny thing, besides this always, you can tell I'm getting a little frustrated, those little hand motions. I'm trying to figure this machine out. I don't want to hurt my material, but I need this thread to come out. I'm learning. I've had this machine for 10 years, and it probably hasn't seen this much attention in a long time. I guess it's the 101 of skill development. You just got to put the time into it. So hopefully by day 61, I'll be looking like a pro on this machine. Yeah, I think I could live with that. I'm not sure about what's going on right there in the center, but maybe I could tug those little wrinkles out. I don't know. There's going to be wrinkles. There's going to be imperfections. I need to tell myself that. Maybe deep down, I'm a perfectionist. And I'm just going to have to figure out how to be productive as a perfectionist. Things are just going to have to be acceptable at some point. If there's a time for mistakes, it has to be the first quilt, right? Well, this machine, like I had said in an earlier video, I received as a birthday present when I was 30 from my husband. He always saw me doing hand sewing, and I guess he felt sorry for me, and he bought me this machine. And it is a Singer, a simple Singer, and I felt like it got the job done. But when I am working with the machine, especially like on heavy fabrics like denim, I started breaking needles, and I looked into it, and it's like, oh, well, you need to get stronger needles to work with denim. Well, I break those darn things too, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, I do know what I'm doing wrong. When I get to the denim part where it's like this quilt, I'm getting the two parts where are joined, and instead of it just the needle going through two layers of fabric, it would go through 4 layers for a moment, like dunk, 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 dunk. And that's when I would break a needle, like trying to force the fabric or have the fabric feed through naturally. Well, it's not easy for me to go to town and go get heavy denim needles. And I thought, well, maybe I need to spend better money on, better quality denim needles. But the jury's still out. I just got a little gun shy on even working with heavier fabric. And that's what was appealing about doing a quilt was, oh, well, I'm going to use lightweight cottons, and hopefully that will suffice my machine. And I know how to change out my needles. That's not the issue. I know how to do it. It's just being a spendthrift, I don't want to keep buying needles to be working with denim if it ain't going to work through the strong fabric. The funny part is on this is I haven't figured out how to control the foot pedal speed. Like, it's just a simple foot pedal, and my foot will go down, and I'm trying to put just a little bit of pressure and make this go slow so I can control the fabric. Well, I haven't got the hang of it just yet, and sometimes my foot, I don't know that it slips, or if the pressing mechanism in the pedal is needs to have some attention to it, because there'll be times when I step on my pedal and it's like ring, it just zips right through there real fast. I'm like, whoa, 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 and I get startled, and then I might lose my hand position on my work. And so I just pull it out and start over. There's a lot of setbacks going on as I learn my machine. And for any of you that are out there beginning, I'm hoping maybe you can watch these videos and get some encouragement. Like, just keep going. Even if you haven't figured out how to control the foot pedal on your machine, and even though you put pins in the wrong place of your fabric and it doesn't put the seams in the right spot for you, and just keep trying, because I know I get discouraged whenever something doesn't work out, or I have in my mind it's going to work this way and then it doesn't. So it's my little piece of wisdom there. Here again, we got the perfectionism going, where I'm trying to decide if this is finished. Is it finished? I've got 3 strips put together, and that should be a block. Yeah, it don't look too bad. There's a little slight pucker here and there, but looks like I got my corners together. Here's a close-up. See where I've got the anchors pointing towards each other? That should really help with not having to decide about direction for it. I think that doesn't look too bad. I've got a bit of a loose one here, but that should be addressed whenever I put it in the bordering in the next patch, in the next square. So I think the next step is just to iron down these seams. Iron the dark away from the light. So I don't want to put the seams on the light part of the, you can see it there where it's kind of showing through. I don't want that to show through when I put the batting in behind it. Well, so there we go, guys. I guess that's it. I have officially created my first square for my 9-patch quilt. Wow, 16 days in the making from start to finish. I'm just so tickled. And now, I guess I've got to make about, what, 100 more of these things? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's the next step. Start making them and start putting them down flat and seeing if that looks like finished quilt. So, wish me luck.